In session 1, we discovered a question that will help us check our motives when we make decisions. We all need that. In this session, I want to share a question with you that will give you some perspective. The question is, what story do I want to tell? Now, here's why this question is so important. Here's why I love it so much, because no matter how big or difficult the current decision is that you're facing, and regardless of how much emotion is involved and how it may be turning your life upside down right now, no matter how many sleepless nights it's causing, one day this decision will simply be a story that you tell in just a couple of sentences. For example, think about it. If you've been out of high school for 5 years or more and somebody asks you about your high school years, you sum up 4 whole years of your life in about 2 or 3 sentences, don't you? Now, at the time you were in high school, all the stuff you were involved in, all the drama that took place, it just seemed larger than life to you. It was your whole world. But now 5 years later, you just say, yeah, I went to this high school and I played football, or I played in the band, or I did this and I graduated in this year, and that's it. Now that enough time has passed, you compress all the drama, all the decisions from high school into about a 2-sentence story. Well, the same thing's true when you tell people about the years you spent in college, about your last job, your last marriage, your last relationship. See, those decisions you made then may have been tough and difficult, and they may have consumed your life, but after a period of time, they just become a story you tell. You see where this is going? That means the decision that you are currently facing, the one that seems larger than life to you right now, the one you can't figure out what to do, you toss and turn at night thinking about it, that decision will become a story that you tell in the future. And here's the great news. You get to decide what that story is going to be. You get to decide because every decision you make writes another sentence or another paragraph or another chapter in your story. And what I know about you is you want to get to your future and you want to be able to tell your whole story, don't you? You don't want to have to leave out part of your story when you're telling it to someone. You don't want to be embarrassed by some of it. You don't want to regret any of it, which is why this second question is so important whenever you're facing a difficult situation. What story do I want to tell? If you will pause and you will imagine the story you want to tell one day about the decision you're facing today, it's going to give you a lot of clarity about what decision you can make now that's going to allow you to tell that story. Because your decisions, you know this, they will become part of your story and the story of the people closest to you and the story of the people you love the most. So, 5 years from now, just think about this, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, what story do you want to be able to tell people? And is the decision that you're making, or is the decision that you're considering making, that you're about to make, is it going to allow you to tell the whole story? Is it going to allow you to tell the kind of story you want to tell? Or will you feel the need to hide it, to cover it up, to avoid the story? I mean, you don't want to have to hide details from your parents. You don't want to have skipped chapters when your kids ask you questions. You don't want there to be parts of your story that you can't or don't want to tell your spouse one day. So never opt for a decision that will make you a liar for life. Never make a choice where you end up being part of someone's "I wish I'd never" story of regret. Imagine the future story you want to tell, and then choose a decision that's going to give you a story you're proud to share. Because every decision writes a chapter in your story. So question 1, why do I want to do this really? Question 2, okay, what story do I want to tell? And I'll give you the third question to help you make better decisions in session 3.